where NASA leader Raila Odinga is currently addressing the media before they head over to the anniversary towers for the protest. Let's just cross over there live and listen in.
Low point. We have always managed one way or the other to overcome them. By making courageous sacrifices, we have frequently gone on to much greater heights, as we did in the 2010 Constitution. Today, we are in one of those dark moments in the history of our nation once again. We are confronted with the layers upon layers of deceit and deception that we must not allow to reign. The latest of our many calamities occurred last month, when the presidential election was brazenly stolen in full view of Kenyans and the world. It was the third time in a row that the people's electoral will had been hijacked. It was indefensible the first time it was done in 2007. It was even more intolerable the second time in 2013. And when it happened again last month, the level of defeat and impunity soared into altogether uncharted realm. Amid such lawlessness came a courageous Supreme Court ruling that stunned the entire world, leave alone Kenya and Africa. Genocide, ethnic cleansing, and unlawful war aside, few crimes are worse than the theft of a people's right to elect a leader who will address their challenges and fulfill their hopes. But today, we are faced with a crisis of monumental proportions that goes well beyond electoral injustice. It is no longer about who is the rightful president of Kenya, or about the naked theft of a presidency. That is unacceptable enough. The tragedy we face today, and which we have to confront before it consumes us, is not that elections were stolen. It is that the IEBC, Jubilee, and a number of local and international actors are determined to repeat that fraud, and they want us to participate in it. Those who control the levels of power in Kenya do not merely want to govern us against our will for the next 5 years. No. They want to ensure they will retain power forever by all means. That is the entire purpose of acting President Uhuru Kenyatta's courageous abuse, threats, and utterly lawless actions in recent days, which are designed to rally his base and other power centers and assure them that power will always stay with them, not just till 2022, but forever. To this end, Jubilee is determined to take Kenyans to another charade of elections whose result will be the same as the one that has been nullified. One thing Jubilee and IEBC refuse to disclose and address, even as they claim to be making changes to the electoral system, is the role the local telecommunication firms, particularly Safaricom, Kenya, played in the collaboration with Safaricom Mofo in manipulating the August elections in favor of Jubilee and Uhuru Kenyatta. It is a matter of public record that Safaricom was contracted by the IEBC to transmit election results from the KIMS kits at the polling stations to the IEBC servers. All this data was to be conveyed via virtual private network, VPN, in order to ensure that there was no tampering of the results before reaching the servers. It has since come to our knowledge that one of these VPNs terminated at a cloud server registered in Spain but operated from France under the control of OTP Mopo. Both VPNs were fully paid for by the IBC. However, the VPN Safaricom terminating locally was never set up. Consequently, results from the polling stations, the KIMS kits, left the country but never found their way back to IEBC. In other words, results which came from the polling stations were transmitted through IEBC network to a server hosted in France, but they never came back to a server at Bomas of Kenya. None of the kits under Safaricom's network ever got their results onto the IBC's public work portal. This collusion between Safaricom, IBC, and Sapramoso remains intact, and the firm is set to do the same thing again which it did in August. Ask yourself, what were the results which were being displayed on the television when the results coming from polling stations were terminating in France? We are also aware that between July 25th and July 27th, the period immediately prior to the disappearance of the acting IBC ICT director, Mr. Chris Musando, hundreds of KIM kits were stolen from the IBC, and the information was shared with the Safaricom. On the election day, the stolen KIMS kits were allowed to continue operating on the Safaricom network, even though the company, they were operating on the Safaricom network, even though the company management knew those kits were not under the control of the IEBC. Safaricom allowed this illegality to go on and did not even care to report the various illegal activities of these KIM kits. You remember that there were several results coming from ungazetted polling stations. We have the names of the 6 individuals at Safaricom who had intimate knowledge of this conspiracy and either actively participated or concealed the same. That same team has been reassembled to do what they did back then. We have instructed our lawyers to initiate private prosecution of the officers under the Cyber Crimes Act. Safaricom is yet to come out on this matter, even as it prepares to take Kenyans for another charade of elections. The sum total of these developments is that the messing up of Kenyan elections were deliberate acts of conspiracy, omission, and commission that are yet to be resolved. This conspiracy comes out at a time Jubilee has indicated that it will be passing new laws to make it impossible for the Supreme Court to nullify any future elections. The IEBC clearly has no intention of reforming itself into a credible electoral institution. It is far too beholden to Jubilee to begin that process. In any event, IEBC cannot begin the process of ensuring an honest election as long as those responsible for the irregularities and illegalities are still lurking in its corridors. IEBC has refused to dismiss or suspend them. That is why we are today beginning this peaceful campaign to force them out by public pressure so that the process of fair elections can at last begin. There are lawyers and webs of deception. There are layers and webs of deception and deceit that we must unravel and reclaim our country. Kenyans in no way want to hold another very expensive election which will be rigged again. End of statement. Kabla sijajibu maswali, tumesema ya kwamba Wakenya watakataa njama ya kujaribu kuvunja demokrasia, uhuru wa kunena na utawala wa kisheria katika taifa letu. Tumeona dalili ya kwamba Jubilee wanafanya njama ya kuturudisha nyuma kama Wakenya katika ile enzi ya utawala wa chama kimoja, pale ambaye rais alikuwa anaitwa mtukufu rais, ambao viongozi walikuwa wanaenda ikuluni kwenda kupiga magoti chini na kupewa mabahasha ya pesa. Ati mtukufu rais, ni wewe peke yako. Wewe ndiye mkulima number 1. Wewe ndiye mwalimu number 1. wewe mwenyewe ni baba na mama. Wewe ndiye huko Prince of Peace. Wakati ile ambaye akienda mahali watakuwa wanalia, atoa mtukufu rais, hapa kwetu barabara ni mbaya sana, mvua ikinyesha haizipitiki, ati hapa hospitali haina dawa. Mtukufu rais, juzi upepo ilikuja hapa ikatoa paa ya nyumba yetu, watoto wanasoma chini ya mti. Alafu akisimama na uliza mawaziri huyu na huyu, angalia, kimaliza kaeni hivyo, Mungu awasaidie. Hiyo ni enzi ambayo Wakenya wamesahau. Kuna Wakenya wengine ambao wamezaliwa nyuma ambayo hawajui yale ambayo yalitendeka. Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukijaribu kupinga, unashikwa, unapelekwa ndani. Wakati hiyo polisi walikuwa ndio sheria wenyewe. Ulikuwa ukijaribu tu namna hii, ndani. Maaskari walikuwa barabarani wakati wa Kenya wakifanya maandamano, kurusha matia gas, kupiga watu risasi. Hata kulikuwa hapa vikundi zilikuwa naitwa jeshi la mzee, wao walikuwa wanapiga watu hapa hovyo. Tumeona dalili ya serikali Jubilee kurudisha huko. Tulisema wale ambao wanaongoza serikali Jubilee ni yatima ya ule enzi, na wanasema wanataka kuvunja katiba yetu na kurudisha sisi kule ambayo sisi tulitoka. Tumeona wao wakipiga kifua. Sisi tuko na wengi katika bunge, tuna wengi ya masenators. Tutabadilisha sheria ya uchaguzi, tutabadilisha sheria na kupunguza nguvu ya mahakama. Ndio sisi tunataka kuambia wao si Kenya. Wakenya wamepigania uhuru ya kisheria na kikatiba kwa miaka mingi zaidi, na hawako tayari kurejeshwa nyuma na serikali ya Jubilee. Tumesema hatutakubali. Tuliona wizi wa hadharani wa kura mwezi uliopita, wakati walitumia shirika ya IEBC kuhujumu sheria na kufanya maovu yale mengi sana ambaye ilionekana wazi mbele ya mahakama kuu. Mahakama kuu ilikuwa haina chaguo ila kusema ati katiba haikufanyika kwa mujibu ya katiba, yani uchaguzi haikufanyika kwa mujibu ya katiba na kisheria, na kutupilia mbali matokeo haya. Sasa tumeona hasira mingi imetoka upande wa Jubilee. Wanasema mpaka tuwe na uchaguzi, wapende wasipende. Na ile vyombo ambazo ziliwekwa ya kuiba kura bado ziko. Tuko na thibitisho ya kwamba ile mtambo ambayo imeliwekwa hapa na kampuni inaitwa Safaricom, wakifanya pamoja na kampuni ya Safaricom Kenya, ambayo ndiyo ilikuwa imeleta utandawazi ya kusurusha matokeo kutoka kwenye vituo vya kupiga kura, vituo ya kujumlisha kura na kuleta hapa Bomas. Walikuwa na mpango ya kuchukua hizo kutoka kule na kupeleka moja kwa moja hadi Ufaransa, lakini hawakuweka mkakati ya kurudisha hiyo matokeo kutoka Ufaransa hadi hapa Kenya. Kwa hivyo yale matokeo ya kura zote ziko bado kule kwa hifadhi katika hiyo servers ya Safaricom kule Ufaransa. Hiyo ndio sababu mahakama ilipotoa uamuzi atawafungue server hapa tukague tuone matokeo, walikataa kwa sababu wanajua yale ambayo yiko kule Ufaransa. Sasa wanataka kurudisha sisi kwa uchaguzi kama yale ambayo walikuwa wanaonyesha wa Kenya katika mitandao, katika televisheni siku hiyo, ilikuwa ni sarakasi. Kwenye mahakama walisema zilikuwa ni manamba tu, they were just statistics. Wasema hiyo statistics unatoka wapi hawajui. Kwa hivyo sisi hatuko tayari kurudi kwa uchaguzi tena, ambayo ilikuwa ni sarakasi, itakuwa ni sarakasi. Hatuko tayari mpaka mabadiliko yafanyike na IEBC. Kwanza wale maafisa wa IEBC watolewe. Pili, mpango kamili ifanyike ya kuchapisha kura na vile vile kutandaza hiyo matokeo ya uchaguzi kutoka kwenye vituo vya kupiga kura hadi ile ya constituency. Hatutaki tena Bomas of Kenya iwe tallying center. Tunataka matokeo itangazwe kwenye vituo ya constituency. Na sheria imesema, katiba inasema uchaguzi wa rais ufanyika katika constituency. Na mahakama vile vile iliamua ati matokeo ambayo imetangazwa na msimamizi ya kura katika constituency ndio mwisho, is the final. Hatutaki Bwana Chebukati akae hapa katika Bomas of Kenya ati na ofisa yake ataona jumlisha. Jumlisha itafanywa katika constituency na hiyo itakuwa ni mwisho yake. Kwa hivyo tumesema kama masharti yetu hayajatimizwa hakuna uchaguzi. Na tumeanza mwenendo leo kuelekea mbele ya kuhakikisha kwamba mpaka yale masharti yetu yatimizwe ndio kuwe na uchaguzi. Shukran.
Looking at the response of the game, especially to the letter that was written by Roman Magai, do you feel this semblance towards achieving credible election? What more should be done, and will you think be attending that?
There's nothing of the sort. And by the way we looked at that letter, and we responded to that letter, we stated clearly that letter falls far short of addressing the concerns which were raised in our letter. We had said that we wanted the company called Al Ghurair to be removed from printing ballot papers and ballot materials because of what we saw in the Supreme Court. They are telling us that they have got a 2-year running contract with Al Ghurair, which cannot be terminated. And you need to know that that contract was single-sourced. And the excuse last time was that time was too short to look for any other printer. They are saying that UNDP is going to fund, to pay Al Ghurair. It's not a question of who is paying Al Ghurair. If it's a question of paying Al Ghurair, Kenya government can pay Al Ghurair. There's money. They have actually applied for 10 billion shillings, which includes the money for printing of the ballot papers. So that is a cosmetic thing, trying to hide under the UNDP, supposedly that that there will be due diligence. We reject, and we have said Al Ghurair should not print ballot papers, period. Then is this issue here of Safaricom. And I've gone to great length to explain to you the collusion between Safaricom and Safaricom. She's not even there hitherto. And Safaricom, by the way, has already done exactly what it did last time. They have not come clear to tell us why they agreed to enter into this kind of conspiracy with the Safaricom to transfer the results from our polling stations to France, against even the advice of the Communications Commission of Kenya, that basically you are actually endangering national security by taking crucial national information and data to another country, rather than your own country. So we've said that, and this is the same arrangement they want to do. So what we are saying here is that IEBC is living in denial. The results of the elections which came from polling stations never came back to their server in Bomas of Kenya. And that's the reason why they refused to allow the Supreme Court, together with the representatives of political parties, access to their servers to find out what is in those servers. So under those arrangements, we are not ready again to go for a repeat of this charade. Jubilee now is busy trying to bully the entire nation. Oh, we have got the numbers. Well, the numbers which are also stolen for them by the same IEBC, and that we will do whatever we like. You've seen that happen in 1981. The same parliament was bulldozed into changing the constitution and taking the country to the single-party dictatorship, which took this country many years to remove, and the loss of so many lives at that time. This is the kind of parliament that we are now having today. We see them sounding war songs and so on. But we want to tell them Kenyans have been there before. Kenyans are not ready to go back there. It will be resisted by the people of Kenya, even at the cost of their lives.
I didn't understand one thing about the Safaricom, where you say that none of the results, none of the things that were assigned for which was results. Yet again, you say that some 100 things that was stolen were used to again control the elections by Safaricom again. You try to explain that how that happened. Then today we didn't see any of the national principles for the administration. Is this a change of tactic, or are we going to change the administration later on as a platform? And finally, you were informed earlier today by your member of parliament that security has been withdrawn from the Safaricom and you were running the How many of these officers are going to parliament about this case?
Number one, on the issue, this story has been on for some time. What happened is that the proper arrangement should be that when people are voting at the polling stations, once they have voted and the results have been accounted, the presiding officer is supposed to announce the results. And once he's announced the results, he's supposed to key them in his smartphone. And he has got a code which he transmits those results to the constituency tallying center and also to the national tallying center at Bomas of Kenya. Secondly, at the constituency tallying center, when the returning officer has added all the results from the polling stations, he's supposed to then complete Form 34B and then scan it and text it again to the National Tallying Center. Announce the results and text the National Tallying Center. What was happening is that Safaricom was the service provider. In other words, the medium through which these results were being transmitted to the constituency tallying center and the National Tallying Center. But the arrangement which was entered between Safaricom and Saffron Mof, that they are not transferring to Bomas of Kenya. They are transferring these results to a server in France. The Saffron Mof server is not hosted here in Kenya. It is in France. The results coming from all these polling stations were going to France. Then there was supposed to be an arrangement through which those results would then be forwarded back through the clouds to a server in Bomas of Kenya. But that connection was never done by the Safaricom. In other words, these results were terminating in France, and that's where they are today. So that's the reason why, when Supreme Court ordered the IEBC to allow access to their server, to give us read-only access, and our representatives, our experts, together with the Supreme Court experts, went to Anniversary Towers, they were not allowed access because the information was not available here. And they had their lawyers saying that people were still sleeping in Europe, in the Supreme Court. That kind of charade. It's just like saying you have got a Visa card and you go to a restaurant to eat and you want to pay and they tell you where the Visa card is hosted, they're still asleep. You cannot pay. You hear that kind of nonsense in today's world. This is what it is. Then there were some Kim's kits which were supposedly stolen at the IEBC. That is a matter of public knowledge. But nobody knows where they are. And you remember in the Supreme Court, we gave evidence that the GPS system of IEBC, which was supposed to locate the position of each of the Kim's kits, was disconnected on the 5th of August. 5th of August. Ordinarily, when that GPS system is there, you will know exactly the location of each Kim's kit in the country, in which polling station that kit is. It's where it is transmitting from. But if you disconnect the GPS, then you cannot now locate where they're transmitting from. This enabled these so-called kits which were stolen to transmit results. And that's the reason why there were over 1,000 unregistered, non-gazetted polling stations, which also transmitted results into the IEBC servers. You see, these results were coming from the so-called Kim's kits which were stolen, supposedly. They are the ones which are now voting for the dead voters, the ghost voters who are resurrected. I hope you now understand. The next thing is you're talking about why the members of the summit were not there. This is not an Raila Odinga, Kakalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi affair. This is a Kenyan affair. It's a Kenyan affair. In war, you don't get the generals all the times in the field. The generals are not always in the field. You have got foot soldiers who are in the field, who are fighting. So it is a demonstration of Kenyans. It's not a demonstration of Raila Odinga. This is what they expected me to be in the field. That's why they withdrew my security, so that I would be there and exposed and so on. I don't care, I don't fear. I'm not here because of the security. My biggest security is the people of Kenya. That is why they can withdraw the security, it's their shauri. So but you need to know that under the law, I am entitled to the state security. I don't enjoy them at the behest or because of the sympathy and mercy or pleasure of Uhuru Kenyatta. There is a law which he himself assented to, which She entitled me to security. She entitled me to pension.
NASA leader Raila Odinga there making an address live from the Capitol Hill with the guns this time round directed to a number of employees or officials from Safaricom network provider. They were the network provider for this particular election, especially the technological part of it. Raila Odinga now claiming Safaricom and Otimorph or Safran, if you like, collaborated with Jubilee to steal or bungle the elections that were annulled by the Supreme Court, the August 8th elections. And Raila Odinga now asking that action must be taken against 6 officials from Safaricom, whom he says were working in cahoots with Jubilee members as well as Safran to steal this particular election. Remember, this particular press briefing comes just a few moments before he heads out together with members of parliament or legislators drawn from the National Super Alliance for the protests that have already begun. Supporters of NASA have been camping outside the anniversary towers, and those are live pictures we are still showing you from the anniversary towers and the vicinity around, asking for the removal of a number of officials. Top on their list, Ezra Chiloba, the chairperson or the CEO for the IEBC. The situation as is currently in